And new at noon, a Belchertown man was sentenced yesterday in Springfield for Social Security fraud. 59-year-old Kenneth Ponce was given 10 months in prison and 3 years of supervised release. And he was convicted in August of 1 count of theft of public funds. Over the span of 16 years, Ponce repeatedly made false statements to the Social Security Administration. He collected over $110,000 in disability benefits. And during this time, Ponce also embezzled over $40,000 from his trailer park association. A restitution hearing is now scheduled to take place in March.